Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Jared Pratt, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is leading aircraftman Timothy Dobrovolsky. We warmly welcome the family of Private Rueben Edward Harvey, whose story will be told shortly. We're honoured to acknowledge General Ukrit Bhunthanonda, Deputy Chief of Defence, Royal Thai Armed Forces, and the accompanying delegation. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream in this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family, visitors to the memorial, and students on behalf of the Holly Family Catholic Primary School visiting from Linfield in New South Wales. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Students and those that are able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Rueben Edward Harvey. Rueben Harvey was born on the 21st of July, 1898 in Bright, Victoria. He was one of 16 children born to Robert Harvey, a farmer, and his wife, Amy. Rueben grew up on the family farm at Coombanang, near Tumura, and was educated at the local public school. As a young adult, he worked alongside his father and siblings on the farm and volunteered in the local militia. When the First World War broke out in 1914, he was employed as a labourer. Rueben Harvey enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 23rd of August 1917. He was assigned to the 13th Reinforcements of the 1st Pioneer Battalion with the rank of private, and commenced a short period of training in Australia. He embarked for active service from Sydney on the 31st of October that year, on board the troop ship Rueben. Private Harvey disembarked in Devonport, England in late December. In the new year, he was transferred to the 53rd Battalion and continued training. After a short period in the hospital, Harvey embarked for the Western Front on the 8th of May 1918. He joined his unit in the trenches on the 1st of July, arriving in the aftermath of the enemy's failed spring offence. With Allied forces preparing a major offensive of their own, Harvey spent his first weeks at the front in training and routine duty in the front lines. When the Allied offensive finally began in August 1918, Harvey's battalion was placed in reserve and spent most of the months away from the main fighting. It was not until the 1st of September that the 53rd Battalion was given orders to attack enemy's positions, driving eastwards between the towns of Peyron and Monscanconton. They began their advance in the early hours of the morning, having been spared the enemy's barrage, which overshot their position. After cutting through barbed wire, Harvey and his comrades eventually reached enemy's lines, where they were drawn into hand-to-hand combat, eventually capturing the first trench by bayonet. They then headed towards Anvil Wood, where they came under fire from the enemy machine gunners, as well was flanking fire coming from Monscanconton that caused about 50 casualties. Among these men was Private Harvey. He was wounded through both legs by machine gun fire before being evacuated by stretcher barriers. As the attack continued, the 53rd Battalion remained under heavy fire from enemy's lines before being forced withdrawal to safety. The attack cost the battalion more than 250 casualties. Among the dead was Private Rueben Edward Harvey, who died of his wounds shortly after being carried from the battlefield. Harvey was buried in a mass grave alongside of his comrades who fell during the attack. He was later reburied at Herbecourt British Cemetery in France, where he lies today. Private Rueben Harvey was 20 years old. He was one of 4 brothers who served. William had been killed in action 2 months before Bertie had died of wounds in May 1917. Only Robert survived the war and returned home. Rueben Harvey's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who have died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Rueben Edward Harvey, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
For those that are able, please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.